In global politics, new powers are always emerging, constantly shifting the balance of influence and opportunity across continents. Among these, BRICS has become one of the most significant and talked about alliances shaping the 21st century. Originally just an economic acronym, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and since 2010, South Africa. These 5 countries span 4 continents and represent a diverse mix of cultures, economies, and political systems. They united to challenge a world order shaped by the West after World War II, seeking a fairer distribution of power, resources, and influence in global affairs. The term BRIC was coined in 2001 by economist Jim O'Neill, who identified these nations as future economic engines with the potential to reshape the global economy. The group's first summit in 2009 transformed an investment idea into a real political force. When South Africa joined in 2010, the group became BRICS, expanding its reach and influence. BRICS isn't a military alliance or a tightly integrated union like the European Union. Instead, it's a cooperative platform where emerging economies can collaborate, share ideas, and coordinate on global issues. Members push for reforms in global institutions like the IMF and World Bank, arguing that these organizations are still dominated by Western interests and don't reflect today's global realities. Decisions are made by consensus, reflecting their shared desire for a multipolar world where no single power dominates. Despite differences in politics, economies, and culture, BRICS members are united in wanting the 21st century to look different from the last, with more voices at the table. Together, they represent a huge share of the world's population, land, and economic output, nearly half of humanity, and a growing portion of global GDP. At its core, BRICS is a coalition of rising powers demanding a greater voice and a permanent seat at the global table, determined to shape the future of international relations. BRICS has grown from a catchy acronym into a powerful coalition that is reshaping the global landscape. What began as a loose association of emerging economies has evolved into a major geopolitical force, and its influence is rooted in both its vast population and economic clout. Even before its recent expansion, BRICS represented over 40% of the world's population, and rivaled the G7 in economic size, making it a formidable player on the world stage. For many in the global south, BRICS is more than just an economic alliance. It's seen as a path to development and prosperity outside the traditional sphere of Western influence and control. The New Development Bank, launched in 2015, funds infrastructure and development projects with fewer political strings attached than institutions like the IMF or World Bank, offering an alternative for countries seeking fairer terms. Politically, BRICS provides a platform for countries that have often been marginalized by the current world order, emphasizing the principles of sovereignty, mutual respect, and non-interference in domestic affairs. In a world grappling with climate change, economic instability, and shifting alliances, BRICS offers a forum where emerging economies can lead the conversation and set their own priorities. Its growing economic and political appeal has attracted dozens of countries interested in joining or partnering, eager to have a greater say in global affairs. For many nations, BRICS represents a chance to diversify alliances, strengthen regional ties, and reduce dependence on Western-dominated systems. The growing list of interested nations shows BRICS is no longer just a club of 5, it's rapidly becoming a leading voice for change and a symbol of a more multipolar world. The bloc's rise signals a profound shift in global power, with the potential to redefine international relations for years to come. In 2024, BRICS underwent its biggest expansion yet, welcoming Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE into its ranks. This marked a historic moment for the group, which had previously consisted of just 5 major emerging economies. The addition of these new members signaled a bold step toward greater inclusivity and influence on the world stage. This move expanded BRICS's reach, especially in the Middle East and Africa, regions that are increasingly central to global trade, energy, and diplomacy. The group's footprint now stretches across more continents than ever before, reflecting a truly global ambition. Egypt controls the Suez Canal, a vital artery for world shipping. Ethiopia is a fast-growing African economy with strategic influence in the Horn of Africa. Iran and the UAE, regional rivals, join together, showing BRICS's role as a platform for dialogue and cooperation, even among countries with complex relationships. For Iran, BRICS offers a way around Western sanctions and a chance to amplify its voice internationally. For the UAE, it's a chance to diversify partnerships beyond traditional Western allies, opening new avenues for trade, investment, and diplomatic engagement. With Russia, Iran, and the UAE, BRICS now includes major oil and gas producers, boosting its energy influence. This energy bloc could reshape global markets, giving BRICS more leverage in setting the agenda for the world's energy future. The group also created a partner country status, with nations like Kazakhstan and Thailand signaling interest. This new category allows more countries to engage with BRICS without full membership, expanding its diplomatic network. In 2025, Indonesia joined as the 10th full member, further strengthening BRICS's claim to represent the global South. Indonesia's entry brought even more diversity and economic weight to the bloc. The bloc now represents about 45% of the world's population, making it one of the largest alliances by population and economic potential. This rapid growth shows the momentum behind a multipolar world order, where power is shared among many nations rather than dominated by a few. Expansion is managed carefully to ensure new members share BRICS's vision and commitment to cooperation, stability, and mutual development. With over 24 countries expressing interest, this is just the beginning. The door is open for even more nations to join or partner with BRICS in the future. BRICS is evolving from an exclusive club to a broad coalition, aiming to give a stronger voice to emerging economies and developing nations. The global balance of power is shifting, and BRICS is at the heart of this transformation, shaping the future of international relations. One of the most surprising developments is Turkey's growing interest in BRICS. Turkey, straddling Europe and Asia, has long sought EU membership and is a key NATO ally. But stalled EU talks and tensions with the West have pushed Ankara to look elsewhere. President Erdogan sees BRICS as a powerful alternative, offering new markets and a chance to reduce reliance on the US dollar. Diplomatically, joining BRICS would boost Turkey's strategic autonomy and global influence. However, as a NATO member, joining a bloc with Russia and China would create major challenges for the alliance. It would be the first time a NATO country joined a group seen as a counterweight to the West. This move could force a rethinking of Turkey's role in both NATO and the global order. While no formal invitation has been made, Turkey's interest has sent shockwaves through Western capitals. The Western-led order faces a potential crack. Hungary, led by Viktor Orban, is another potential BRICS suitor, this time from inside the EU. Orban's government has clashed with Brussels and pursued closer ties with Russia and China. For Hungary, BRICS offers a way to gain autonomy from EU rules and attract investment from emerging economies. Orban's vision of illiberal democracy aligns with BRICS's emphasis on sovereignty. Joining BRICS would legitimize Hungary's political model and challenge the EU's unity. As a full EU member, Hungary's move toward BRICS would raise fundamental questions about its commitment to the European project. Could a country belong to both the EU and a bloc seen as its rival? This scenario would force the EU to confront its own divisions. For the EU, the prospect of Hungary or Turkey aligning with BRICS is deeply alarming. The EU is built on shared values and a unified foreign policy. A member joining BRICS would undermine this foundation. Hungary, as a full EU member, is expected to align with EU foreign policy, including sanctions and human rights stances. If Hungary joined BRICS, it would sit with countries the EU often opposes, creating conflicts of interest and paralyzing decision-making. For Turkey, interest in BRICS signals a possible final break with the European path and raises security concerns for NATO. The EU faces tough choices: re-engage with these countries or risk pushing them further toward BRICS. Years of friction make reconciliation difficult, but a hardline approach could backfire. This is a wake-up call for the EU. Its influence is no longer guaranteed. BRICS offers a compelling alternative vision, even to countries in Europe's backyard. The EU must adapt to a new era of global competition. To grasp BRICS's significance, compare it to Western-led groups like the G7 and the EU. The G7 is a club of wealthy democracies that sets the global agenda, expecting others to follow. BRICS, by contrast, is a coalition of rising powers with diverse political systems, united by a desire to reform the global order. While the G7 requires shared values, BRICS prioritizes sovereignty and economic development, making it attractive to the global South. The EU is the world's most integrated regional bloc, demanding members pool sovereignty and follow strict rules. BRICS is a loose cooperative, no supranational authority, just collaboration on projects like the new development bank. For countries like Turkey or Hungary, the EU's model can feel restrictive. BRICS offers flexibility. BRICS is about building a network of sovereign states to boost collective bargaining power. It's a flexible, à la carte approach, in stark contrast to the West's fixed menu model. This difference explains BRICS's growing appeal. If EU-aligned countries join BRICS, it marks a profound shift in global geopolitics. The post-Cold War era of Western dominance would give way to a truly multipolar world. NATO would face an internal crisis if Turkey, its second-largest military, joined BRICS alongside Russia. The EU's unity would be threatened if Hungary joined a rival bloc. BRICS's push for local currencies and new financial systems could fragment the global economy. More countries might pursue strategic non-alignment, working with all major powers for their own interests. This transactional world offers more autonomy, but also more volatility. The old certainties of international relations are fading fast. We're witnessing a historic transformation as BRICS reshapes the world order. Its expansion and the interest from Turkey and Hungary are central to the 21st century story. For these countries, joining BRICS offers opportunity and risk, new partnerships but possible isolation from the West. Their choices will test whether a country can bridge the divide between the West and the global South. For the EU and US, BRICS's appeal is a challenge to the Western-led order and a call for reform. The world is now multipolar, with more choices and less predictability. The rise of BRICS is the clearest sign of this new reality. Its journey is far from over. The world is watching what comes next.